You are listening to Austin Gardner's thoughts on missions and leadership training. For more information, please check us out at austingardner.net.
Well, I'm back with you, and we're going to talk about helping the less motivated among us. You're probably motivated from last week to want to kill me. And right now you're looking for my house and you've already sent terrorists there. But I just read out of the book of Proverbs, and you're a preacher, and that's one of your books, and I'm sure you're going to read that. So what are the results of your excuses? I'd like to talk to you about that. What are the results of your excuses? When you make excuses, your excuses hold you down and will not let you go. The Bible says in Proverbs 26:14, as a door turns upon his hinges, so does the slothful upon his bed. It's kind of like you're in bed and you're locked in bed and you can't get out, you know? It's like you flip over here and you flip over here and you flip over here and you flip over here, and it's like you're stuck to the bed. The Peruvians, people I used to work with in South America, they had a funny saying. They used to say that the sheets would stick to you. When a guy couldn't get up in the morning, he said, I would have got up, but the sheets stuck to me. And it's kind of like what's going on here. You make these excuses and they hold you down. You're the one they're hurting, so stop it with the excuses. No more excuses. Start doing something about those excuses, because they're only holding you down and not letting you go. The second thing that excuses do is they take away your desire and ability to do something. The second I start making excuses, I kind of accept those excuses. I kind of begin to believe the lies I'm saying. I'm telling other people lies, and I begin to believe them. I watch that happen all the time with missionaries. I watch it happen with preachers. The Bible says in Proverbs 19:15, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So here's the really sad thing. When you're lazy, it just makes you lazier. The lazier you are, the lazier you get. The longer you do lazy stuff, the longer you make excuses, the longer you try to figure out a reason you're like you are, it's just going to make you worse. We have a little saying, I have a little saying, don't know what anybody else does, but you're only going to be more of tomorrow what you are today. And if you're a bum today, you're going to be a bum tomorrow. If you're lazy today, you're going to be lazy tomorrow. So you're going to have to work at overcoming that. If you let these excuses keep working, they will result in leaving you empty and poor. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 13, love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open your eyes, and they shall be satisfied with bread. So, if you like sleep, you're going to be poor all your life. If you like sleep, you're going to be poor all your life. Get up an hour before other people do. Study longer lessons than other people do. Knock on 10 extra doors more than other people do. Study more Bible than other people do. Work harder than others, or it won't work. It'll leave you empty and poor. Your laziness is robbing you. The Bible says in Proverbs 24:33, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, and so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man. In other words, it's that little stuff, but it's bringing poverty, poorness, living in a shack all your life, never getting a ministry going, never using anything for God, never doing anything for God. It's coming your way. And it comes like a guy with a gun, with a sword. It comes like a guy who has power to make you do it. Your excuses are only holding you back. You must quit making excuses, or they will steal from you. You miss your opportunities. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 5, he that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causes shame. Well, what happens is slothful people like to sleep, and sleep makes you miss opportunities. And when it's time to be harvesting, you want to sleep. When it's time to be plowing, you want to sleep. When it's time to be working, you want to sleep. We all want to have a large church. We all want to have a great ministry. We all want to be used of God, but we soon allow laziness to take over and ruin our lives. So I'd like to take the next few minutes and tell you how to overcome your excuses. Number one, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. The Bible says in Proverbs 6:6, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. And so he actually said, go out, find you an anthill, sit down and watch them. Watch the way they work. Watch the way everybody's carrying their load. Watch the way everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Watch how they work, and think about it. Think about it. Now, there was a story they used to tell us when I was a child, And the story when I was a child was that the ant worked all summer long and stored food so that come wintertime, the ant would be able to have plenty to eat. But the grasshopper, he liked to sing and make music and jump and dance and play all year. And when the end of the summer came, he just froze and died. And so it is a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation. You got to make up your mind that you're going to think about it and be wise. Look around. So the story that they told us as a child was that the old grasshopper came to see the ants and said, I haven't worked all year, haven't done my job, but if you'll give me a chance. And so they let the grasshopper in and let him live that 1 year. Other stories have him just let him die, because if you won't work, you ought to die. That's basically a Bible truth. He that doesn't work shouldn't eat. So get out of bed. That's how you overcome. Get out of bed. Proverbs 6:9. How long will you sleep, O lazy guy? When will you get out of bed? When will you arise from your sleep? Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 9. So discipline yourself to get up in the morning. Discipline yourself to get up, get your shower, put your clothes on, and step out into the real world and go to work. Get you a place to work. Best thing to do is to leave your house. Best thing to do is have an office at your church or an office somewhere where you could go and work, because if not, it's hard. The bed calls. There was a guy while I was in college that used to say that my bed's calling me. Well, it does call you. So get out of the house, get away from it. Learn to respect time. Learn to respect time. The Bible says in Psalm chapter 90 and verse 10, the days of our years are 80 years and 10. That's 70. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, 80, yet is there strength in labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. So you got to get a hold of your time. You got to say, man, I'm going to work every minute. That's what redeeming the time means. It means grab the opportunity. So get up and work. Don't wait to Saturday to get your message for Sunday. Start on Monday. Don't wait to Friday. Start earlier. Don't wait to do your studies until the test is due. No telling how many times when I was in college, I didn't study. I waited till it was time for the test, and I studied the night before. We in English here in America, we call it cramming. It's like sticking as much in your head at one time as you can. And I'd go in, and I didn't learn anything. I got through the test, but I didn't respect time. You have to respect the time. You have to take advantage of the time. You need to count down. For years, I've kept up with pretty much how much time I got left to live. Everybody thinks I'm morbid. I'm not morbid. I did it when I was in my 20s. Because honestly, every day you're burning time. Every day you're burning life. And if you don't get a hold of that, you won't respect time. The Bible says in John chapter 9 and verse 4, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work. That's Jesus telling you to respect the time. Get a hold of the fact that time is valuable. Time is important. You got to work the time. You see, when you're young, you're too young. And then when you're old, you're too old. And you can be too late. So what do? Work now. Work like you're not going to live another week. Get it all done. Learn everything you can. And next week, do the same thing. Every day, try to gain all you can. Understand that the Bible lesson in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 10 is, if you don't work, you're not supposed to eat. The Bible says in 2 Thessalonians 3:10, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Now, that's the whole lesson. So let's talk about what we're going to do and how that works in the ministry. I want to kind of go over how that works in the ministry. I've been in the ministry over 40 years. I've been a pastor. I got saved in 1962, so that's about 54 years ago, 52 years ago, I guess. And so I've been in the ministry a long time, and I'd like to explain some things to you. Almost always, every missionary, every person I've trained, and every preacher I've worked with, they make excuses. So when you ask them, why don't you make phone calls? Well, they got reasons why they don't make phone calls. Why don't you read? Well, I don't read well. Why don't you listen? I don't understand what I listen to. They always have excuses. And if you can say, well, everybody's poor in my township, and you don't understand, we can't do it in Africa what you're doing there. Of course not. You can tell me that you have culture. I hear that all the time. Well, it's just against the culture here. Who cares? We're there to start a new culture. We're telling them, this world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. Hey, Jesus is my mayor, my captain, my president, my governor, my king. My kingdom, my country is his kingdom. This isn't my kingdom. I got to use my time. Stop making excuses. Get out of bed. Get you a schedule. Get you a schedule. And write down, this is what I got to do today at this time. And do it. Get you a to-do list. Write down what you need to get done. So you can say, I've got to get this done, this done, this done, and this done. It makes it feel better when you go to sleep at night, because when you go to bed, you say, I checked off everything I was supposed to do today. Make sure you keep a good to-do list. Get you a place to study and work. I hate working out of my house. I hate it. All my ministry, all my life, I've always had an office. Had an office in my first church. This is the first time I haven't had an office and in my ministry right now, because we're in construction here. But I would say to you, okay, go to the church, get you a corner, get you a chair and a table, sit in the corner, turn your face away from everybody else, concentrate on what you got to do. But if you go to work, you can leave work. Well, what happens is, if you're not careful, what you call work ends up being checking Facebook, playing games, talking to your friends, going to the bathroom, checking on your baby. You're just wasting time. So get a schedule, get a to-do list, and get a place to work. Then decide to become a disciplined, dedicated student. That means go ahead and get some books and mark them and say, all right, I'm going to read X number of pages per day. So take a book. You don't need to try to read a book all at one day. Sit down and say, I can read this amount in 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever you could schedule into your schedule, and say, I'll read that much, and then divide it up and every day read that. Divide the Bible the same way. If you don't have to preach every week, still go ahead and get 2 or 3 sermon outlines every week. Won't hurt to be ahead. Won't hurt to have stuff prepared. Get you a way to study and to work. Be organized. Get you a place to put your stuff. If you prepare a sermon outline, and when you get through preaching it, you need to file that outline. Get you a paper file, or if you use electronics, file it that way. You say, well, I don't think it went that well. It don't matter. You can fix it next time. You can fix whatever was wrong. So I've saved messages that I know stunk. I know I didn't do a good job. I don't do a good job on the majority of them, but I save them all and I can rework them the next time. And many times when I come to a passage I'm about to preach, I'll go find something I preached before and I'll say, hey, I can use 2 or 3 of those points. I can use 2 or 3 of those subpoints, and it helps me. So don't be lazy. Now listen, last thing I'm going to say, probably make you mad, but don't do what everybody else that's your friend does. Don't do what everybody in your culture does. You can say, well, nobody gets their own time. Nobody gets up early. Nobody does all you're saying do. So I'm not talking to that guy. I'm talking to you. You need to pay the price. One of you. Just one of you. Then the rest of them will realize they can pay the price. Some of us are less motivated than we need to be. We make excuses for not doing the job we ought to do. We're just kind of hanging around. And I'll give you a hint. When it's all said and done, your ministry and your life, nothing will have been accomplished. You got to work. It is work. Life is work. I appreciate you letting me take the time to talk to you. I hope that you got something out of this. I'd love to hear from you. God bless every one of you, and let me know if I can help you with anything else.